health court, it's actually interesting how I started mental health court. And that was another controversial thing that I did. We were, let me back up. When I started mental health court, I had a sentencing, and it was for a 19-year-old girl who had robbed a lady at an ATM machine, taken $20 from her, held her up with a gun. So I'm reading this just in my pre-sentence report. I didn't know anything about this defendant victim. So I go into court, and it's the day of sentencing, and I call the case, and the 19-year-old comes up with her parents, and she's standing in front of me, and she's shaking uncontrollably, crying. I mean, it was like not normal. So I'm like, what's going on here? And I find out that she's paranoid schizophrenic. Of course, she was not on her medication at the time. And I look at my DAs, and I said, what's the deal with the victim? And they said, oh, Judge, it's an elderly lady. She has been so traumatized by this, she's scared to come out of her house. And I said, wow, that's horrible. And I said, well, listen, I said, we're going to continue this till next Thursday, and I need to think about a few things, and we'll do the sentencing. Well, I had found out during the course of talking to them, what meds she was supposed to be on, and, a bunch of stuff about her. So I came back here after court, and I called my victim, and I'll just call her Miss Smith. And I said, Miss Smith, I said, this is Judge McCooey, and I said, I was sentencing the person today who robbed you, and I'm so sorry that happened to you, and I understand that, it really, frightened you, and you're scared to come out of the house. And her exact words were, I wasn't scared, Judge McCooey. She goes, I was pissed off. And I laughed because this was an 86-year-old lady, and I thought, okay, this is God working here. I said, well, Miss Smith, let me tell you about this person. And I proceeded to tell her, she was paranoid schizophrenic, not on her medications at the time. I said, Miss Smith, I said, we got two choices here. I said, with the weapon enhancement, she's looking at 20 to life at Tutwiler. And I said, she will definitely probably not get her medications in prison. She'll be worse when she comes out. Or, I said, you can let me start a mental health court. I said, now, I don't know anything about mental illness. I said, I'm not the expert, but if we don't start somewhere, we get nowhere. And I said, I plan on meeting her every Monday night at 7 p.m. in front of the courthouse. I'm going to make sure she's going to her psychiatrist, her therapist, taking her medications, because that's when I had gotten that she could come. I said, what do you think we should do? And she said, well, Judge McCooey, we need to start a mental health court. She said, that would be stupid to send her to prison. And I thought, thank you. So I hung up the phone. The next Thursday, I went in to sentence her, got mad at my DAs for lying to me about my victim, and I said, we're starting a mental health court. And my DA said, we don't have a mental health court, Judge. I said, we do now. I just started it. It's my courtroom, remember. I can do what I want. So I started mental health court. Well, for the first year, I would meet Kimberly at 7 p.m. in front of the courthouse, and then I met Larry, who was my Vietnam vet, paranoid schizophrenic truck driver, in the back of the courthouse at 7:30. Well, finally, our local mental health agency, I think, thought I was mentally ill and said, we need to give her a real case manager because she thinks she knows what she's doing, and she really doesn't. So they eventually gave me a case manager. And out of that has grown a real mental health court. I have case managers, we have a psychiatrist, a therapist, and that's all in-house. We can do everything within our own jail, which is amazing. And I meet our folks the second and fourth Tuesday night of the month at 5:30. We currently have 35 people that are on mental health court. But just to tell you a good rest of the story, Kimberly graduated from college with honors. She is a CPA here in town, doing great. Larry got a pardon and continues to drive trucks long distance. He'll call and leave me a message about every 6 months. Judge McCooey, Larry, doing fine, click, and you'll just check in. But, mental illness is no different than someone who has multiple sclerosis or diabetes or heart disease. I tell my mentally ill folks, we just got to take our medications and do what we need to do, and we'll be okay. And we have had lots of people who have finished, who have done well. A probation officer has 100 to 200 probationers. The probation officer knows nothing about mental illness. It's not that they don't care. They are not equipped to deal with those folks. But I have a case manager who knows about mental illness, who has a very small caseload, and that's what we need. It's been a great thing. I enjoy doing it. And it's funny because if you came to mental health court on a Tuesday night, I've had people come, and they've come up to me at the end of it, and they're like, Judge McCooey, are you sure this is court? And I laugh, and they say, it's more like you're the social worker or their mom. And I say, hey, I wear whatever hat I need to. If I need to be mom or social worker, or if I need to be tough on them, whatever. But, they bring me pictures. They bring me food. Someone made me a pecan pie last Tuesday. Reggie painted me all those pictures. It's very much of a different atmosphere than your regular court. And mental health court's been really good. I have a regular criminal and civil docket, which I have probably, I've got about 300 criminal cases, and I've got about 400 civil cases. And so that's my regular docket that I have to do that has nothing to do with mental health court or drug court or any of my restorative justice. I do all that stuff because I want to, but nobody pats me on the back and says, you're so great, so we're not going to give you as many cases, or you're so wonderful, we're going to pay you more. That isn't what rehabilitative courts and restorative justice is about. I mean, you have to have the passion to want to do it. And I do, but it has nothing to do with my regular docket.